AMC 10A 2005 problem 10. There are two values for a for which the equation 4x squared plus ax plus 8x plus 9 is equal to 0 has only one solution for x. What is the sum of those values of a? So when reading word problems, know where to read. This question says has only one solution for x. And how do we solve for a quadratic formula or quadratic equation rather? Because this is in the form of a quadratic equation. Well, the solution to a quadratic equation, will be always negative b plus minus, depending on the circumstance, the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is universal for all parabolas or for all quadratic equations. And we want to find two values for a for which this equation only has one solution for x. So we can obviously only take a plus or a minus, but we'll get to that later on. So 4x squared plus ax plus bx plus 9 is equal to 0. What can I do about the middle term? Well, I see that they're coefficients of the same variable, so I can factor out the x. Becomes 4x squared plus x times parentheses a plus 8 plus 9 is equal to 0. And we cannot simplify this further, so we're left with this equation to solve for x. And to solve for x, and we're solving for x because x is the variable within this quadratic equation. X is the variable. It could be y, it could be z, whatever you want to call it. But generally, the variable is x that we're trying to solve for. The variable that's changing. In this case, x is that variable. So x must be equal to negative b term. And what is b representing within the quadratic formula? Well, it is representing the coefficients of each x within the general form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. A is the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, c is the constant, and 0 is 0. So x will be equal to negative b. Negative b in this case will be the coefficient of x, which is a plus 8. So negative parentheses a plus 8 plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. What is b? Well, we established that b is b is a plus 8. So this becomes a plus 8 squared minus 4 times a times c. The constant is 9, or c, and the a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 4. So 4 times the c, which is a 9. All this over 2 times a, which is 2 times 4. And now we simplify this. The denominator becomes 8. This becomes negative a minus 8 plus minus the square root of expanding a plus a squared plus 16a plus 64 minus 4 times 4, which is 16 times 9, which is 144, becomes 144. And now we can scroll down to give me some more room. Will be equal to negative a minus 8 plus minus the square root of a squared plus 16a minus, let's see, this will be 80. Minus 80 all over 8. So now we have this nasty term with an a squared plus 16a minus 80. But under what conditions must we apply to a squared plus 16a minus 80 to give us one result only? Well, we have conveniently written the inside as another quadratic equation. So can we factor this to some degree so that it can help us solve the question? Well, I see that 80 can be written as, let's see, 6 times 15. Well, that would be no use. And it can be written as 8 times 10. It can be written as 4 times 20. And I see that 4 times 20 could be a possible pair, because 4 minus 20 is negative 16. 20 minus 4 is 16. So we can factor this to be 1, 1, and 4, 20. Now we'll add it, so it must be negative 4 here, meaning that we can factor this to be negative a minus 8 plus minus the square root of a minus 4 times a plus 20 all over 8. And the only way for a quadratic equation to have one solution is if the discriminant, or the value within the square root, results to 0. So if a quick review here, b squared minus 4ac. If this is equal to a number greater than 1, equal to 0, or less than 1. Less than 1 must mean there are no real solutions. There can be imaginary solutions, but no real ones. Greater than 1 means 2 solutions. Equal to 0 means 1 solution. So we must set a minus 4 times a plus 20 to be equal to 0. So a minus 4 times a plus 20 must give 0. And what values make this 0? A is equal to 4 and a is equal to negative 20. And can both of these situations work? Well, if we scroll up, we want to find one solution for x. What is the sum of those values of a? So we have two values of a currently, -4 or +4 and -20. So 4 plus -20 gives -16. So we can scroll up and see if there's a choice value for -16, and there is indeed a choice for -16. So our solution must be a -16.